Hi, it's Josie, and have you ever put your leg on to give a canter aid and your horse just shoots off out from underneath you? A lot of riders do blur the line between putting the aid on and asking for the actual canter, because they are two distinct things. And today I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you with Rebel, who is quite educated in that. And I'm going to show you in Lil, who is just learning the concept. So you'll see the difference. It's dinner time. I think he wants his dinner. No, you've got a little bit of work to do yet, mate. What we do when we give a canter aid is our outside leg goes back, our inside leg stays on the girth, and then they hug the horse into the canter aid. Your outside leg does not go back from the knee. It shouldn't be like that. It actually is just a little bit behind the girth, and the whole leg sort of moves back. So the whole leg moves back. So it's not like that. I'm exaggerating it here. It's only a little bit, sorry. But when you move that, your hips, your inside hip and your seat bone will come slightly forward. I'll show you that on the ground and you might get a feel for what I mean. So as I said, when you're asking for canter, your outside leg goes back slightly behind the girth. It doesn't go like that though, okay? So it's not from the knee, it's actually from the hip. So I'm just gonna stand here as if you were on the horse, which means that you should be standing on your horse, not sitting in a chair seat. See what happens if my weight goes too far behind me? That's what happens in the saddle when you're trying to rise trot, particularly if you're sitting back behind, if you're not over your feet, sorry. So what happens is this leg goes back. So I'm actually going to have to put some weight here. So the whole leg from the hip goes back a bit. And I want you to see what that does here to my hip. So if I slide this leg back, already this hip has come forward. It's a natural part of your body mechanism to do that. We'll do that again. I'll use this as my outside leg, so I'm standing on my horse. I do have to move my weight over, okay? You don't have to do that on the horse because you're sitting around your horse. So I'm going to put this leg back. See how that hip comes forward? So we'll do that this way so you can see this side. This will be my inside leg, left leg will be my outside leg. So just moving that foot back half a foot brings your inside hip and therefore your seat bone forward. I want you to remember that when you're teaching this to your horse, it's going to be far from perfect. And Lily will show you some mistakes, I have no doubt. Even Rebel might throw in a few mistakes today too, and that's okay. Training a horse is not a linear process. So let's go and see how that looks. So I'll sit, I'll say move, and then I'll say on as I press my canter aids on. All right, so we'll come around here and I'm going to sit, move, on. Good girl, Lil. So that was the first transition she's done in this training session. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Move, and there she cantered without me putting it on, so I just bring her back to trot. I'm glad she did that, and trot on as if nothing happened. She needs to learn to wait for the aid. Good girl, move, on, whoop, and she took the wrong lead, doesn't matter. These are all normal, and that's because she sort of pushed back against me, moved her haunches in. It was not a very good setup on my behalf. Certainly not the horse's fault. Try again. Sit, move, press. Good girl. Good girl. So what you do when it's your fault, you just say, my fault, because we all make mistakes. We'll do one more on this rein. And then we'll turn around and we'll do the other rein. I've picked Lily's easier way of canter first because I like to set my horses up to win. So when they're learning something, I like to make it as easy as possible. This is her better way of cantering. Okay, sitting, moving, press. Good girl. Was a little bit delayed, but it was still quite a good transition. So now we'll do the other way. So now we'll try this way. Move on. And she didn't do a very good job that way. That's no worries. Okay. Legs in position and canter. Good girl. Move and canter. Whoops, I said the word, sorry. But you can see how there was a delay between me moving my legs and asking him to canter. Okay. Good boy. That was just a miscommunication. You don't worry about those things, they happen. Just going to get him a little softer in the back for me to sit on. Good boy. Okay, so I've moved my legs. Now he should sit here all day, just trotting with my legs in this position. And then if I give the aid now, canter. He was a little bit delayed, but that's not too bad. He needs to be a bit sharper, but that's what training's all about. Ooh, good boy. We'll go down and I'll try it in that second corner here for you. So I'm going to sit. I've moved my leg now, ready, and now. Good boy. So I should be able to canter around with my legs in the canter position and have him not canter all day until I press the aid onto him. All right, let's see that on the other side. Okay, leg in now, see, and canter. Good boy. Do that again in that quarter, so hopefully you can see my outside leg move. So I'll warn him with a little half halt. Listening, listening, legs back and canter. Good boy. Good. Good. Oh. So when your horse has that, and you can do that, that's your next building block to teach your horse walk to canter transitions. So what we do with them is, now my legs are in the canter, the right canter position, as in right canter, and I'll wait until I feel him nice and soft and I'm in the correct part of his stride, and then I will press. Good boy. Good boy, Rebel. Very good boy. So we'll do that one again. Good. I've just got my legs in walk position at the moment. I'll change, I'm straightening my saddle up, it slips a bit. I'm going to change them to the canter position now, so he knows something's coming. Little half halt, wait for the timing and say canter. Beautiful. Good boy. Good boy. That's really good. Not going to do any more of them because that was very good for him. He's just coming back into work after having quite a bit of time off through illness. So just remember, it's not going to look perfect if your horse is learning it. Even Rebel did a couple of not so good ones but got better as we did some more. That is the process of training a horse. If your horse skedaddles off when you move your leg, just quietly bring him back to trot and go over it again and move your leg. And you just sometimes have to keep doing that until they understand that's not the canter aid. Particularly if for a little while they've been thinking that was the canter aid. So right around, put your canter legs in your canter aid position, then put them on, and push your horse into canter. Using the gears, getting them right, then using the accelerator to get them going. I don't know if that analogy will help you. If the horse doesn't canter and continues to trot when you put the legs on, you need to find a way to explain to your horse that he needs to canter. When I'm working with a young green horse, I have a voice aid for canter, And I will use that when I'm teaching them, which is why a couple of times there when I said canter, Rebel knows the word canter. So I was trying not to use that so that you could see that it came from the aids and not from my voice. So remember, moving of the legs is setting the gears up. Pushing, which I just did then, pushing with your legs is the accelerator to go into canter. When you separate both of those and your horse understands, you can see with Rebel that it becomes a much cleaner, nicer transition, and then you can go on further and add building blocks like walk to canter. I'd love for you to let me know in the comments if you have problems with your canter transition, and if you do this exercise, please come back and let me know how you go. I love hearing from you guys, and thanks for watching.